Take it easy and solve the school lunch problem with SPAM. S-P-A-M.
こんにちは、タイガークローラジオ。You are listening now. Fuck J.
You are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Number 1 in vintage computer and video game entertainment. And now your host, Critical Failure.
What's going on, everybody? This is Critical Failure. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio, episode 209. Got a little bit of endcasting this week, but mostly going to do some in-studio stuff, which I'm very much looking forward to. I haven't really had the chance to do this in the last couple of months, actually. It seems like the vast majority of TCR exists while I'm in the car, so that's cool that we'll actually be able to dig into some stuff. Also, last night I headed over to chipmusic.org, much as I used to, and I got a few of the awesome tracks that are out there right now. So let's do it. Let's head over to chipmusic.org and see what's cooking. You guys are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. That track's called Out of Breath from YQN. And they spelled breath wrong, presumably on purpose. They spelled it BREQTH. So maybe that's not what it's called. Maybe it's Out of Breath. I don't know. I got to play some Dead or Alive today. I tried to shoot a video of Dead or Alive for the original Xbox. The original Xbox had a 2-disc collection of Dead or Alive 1 and 2, like the Dead or Alive Ultimate. I don't know, something like that. So I got out all the discs, showed them off, kind of like in the pickup style I've been doing, and then did some capture footage and the old Hapog HD PVR. I mean, it works well, but it's pretty unstable. And I couldn't, and the editing got really complicated, and I just kind of gave up on it. I was like, look, man, this is something I'm supposed to be able to make a lot of really quickly. It's not. It just kind of fell apart. But the upside is I did get to play an awful lot of Dead or Alive. I played through Dead or Alive 2 on the original Xbox. I played through that like 5 times today, which was a lot of fun. I think I might just do it again so that I can throw out, okay, here's me playing through Dead or Alive 2, and that's the video. How good would it do? Who cares? Just for fun, for the fun of it, because I like that, and that's the way these things should go down. Played some Dead or Alive 3, which is good. So I really stuck to like the first part of the series, which was so much fun. And now I've got Tiny Tank waiting for me. As soon as I wrap up TCR today, I'm going to be able to play some Tiny Tank, which is great because that game's supposed to be really short, and I'm not quite ready to pick up an RPG yet because I've been playing a new RPG, I should say, because I've been sitting on the couch with my kids and playing the original Phantasy Star. I want to push that a little further before I dig into Star Ocean 2. Oh, man, it's great. This is really a great place to sit down to play games and be so like overwhelmed with choices. But not in a way where I have a huge shelf and a giant backlog, and it's just nothing seems fun because my backlog is so big. No, it's not like that. I'm in like this sweet spot where I got a little of this, a little of that, and enough to keep me interested, which is great. I think the only games I've purchased that aren't getting played. Oh, hang on a second, phone's ringing. I gotta start ignoring my phone when I do this. What was I talking about? Right, the only games that weren't getting played. And that's Gran Turismo 2 and my Game Boy Advance Yu-Gi-Oh games. To be fair, the Yu-Gi-Oh games, I knew they weren't going to get played when I bought them. I've already got card-based games. Just those are cheap. I wanted to collect them. I don't know why. I really don't have a reason for that, except I wanted them and they're small. But yeah, Gran Turismo 2, I put that in when I first got it. And I did a couple of license tests, because I didn't have any kind of hard drive space for it. Not hard drive space, memory card space. So it's like, let's just test it and see if it works. And I did, and it does. And then it went back on the shelf, and there it will stay. Probably until I get rid of it. But that's cool. Gran Turismo 2 is a good game. Like, now it seems like if I were to play a racing game, I'd rather play Trackmania on the PC. Or even if I was going to play a consoleized racing game, I'd probably rather play an old one. Hang On the Master System or Super Hang On the Genesis are both good games that I have handy. I don't know. All right, let's do this. Let's see. We're about a little over 9 minutes in. I do have some van casting for this week. The Monday morning van cast has got quite a bit of stuff in it that I was able to go over, still fresh in my head. So let's go ahead and play that. And when we come back, we'll play another track from chipmusic.org. Oh boy. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday. Monday morning, bright and early. 6:26. I'm headed off to work. This is the first work day after daylight savings time has come to a close. So this is the good one. When the weather gets bad outside, that's when we get the good time change. When the weather's getting good for spring, that's when we get the bad time change. So we got an extra hour of sleep, which is cool, because when you have kids don't catch on to the hour change quite like grown-ups do. So The kids were asleep at like 6:30 last night or something, which was great. I need to change the clock on my dashboard though. You know, with the proliferation of computers and cell phones, the vast majority of the clocks that we have around us, or at least that I have around me, change themselves. So the things that don't seem like fringe devices, like the microwave and my alarm clock. It's really just those two things, those and the dashboard clock right here. Everything else changes itself. It's pretty cool. Alright, so video games. The night of the time change, I knew that I was going to have a hard time with the kids waking up early, and I was like, alright, every single time there's a good time change, the extra hour just goes into, I don't know, doing something else. So, you know what? I'm going to stay up an extra hour and play video games, and that's where my extra hour is going to go. And that's exactly what I did, which felt great. Let's see. I tried to play as many of the new games that I've purchased lately as I could, so I got a few first impressions to go over. First and foremost, let's talk about Final Fantasy X2. What is that all about? That is a weird game, guys. Now, I didn't play Final Fantasy X. I remember watching my old roommate play it many, many years ago, but I played the first 20 minutes of Final Fantasy X2, and it's like I couldn't make heads or tails of it. It was like a pop music video. We join our story already in progress. That's X2. That's my best interpretation of Final Fantasy X2. I'll play it a couple more times. Given the money I spent on it, I should put about 3 hours into it. That should be a decent trial period to see if I dig it or not. Other games I played Siphon Filter 2 briefly, and the gameplay was as I remembered it. It was pretty good. But here's the thing. I made a video last week about 10-year-old memory card data. One thing I didn't mention in that video is that means all my memory cards are full. And Siphon Filter 2 takes 3 memory card spots. At least that's what it says in the box. So I played it for about 20 minutes and then I just set it aside. It's like I need to really get a new memory card before I can dig into this game. So that's a problem. And it's the same way with, I believe it's the same way with my PS2 as well. I've got a little space. Like I had enough to make a Devil May Cry spot and a Final Fantasy X2 spot. But I think the end of my PS2 memory card is coming soon. Because I used to have 2 memory cards, and one of them is just gone. It's just gone in my home somewhere. So, I don't know. I have to get some memory cards to play these old Sony systems. We'll see how that goes. The big event for me that happened over the past weekend was this. Sunday morning, my kids dragged me out of bed. They came in while my wife and I were sleeping. They're like, somebody's got to get up and come out here. It's like, this is, I mean, you kids are old enough, you know, they usually hang out with each other and play until me or my wife gets up, which is usually not long. But this time they weren't having it. They're like, somebody's got to get up and come out here. And I was tired. I was not ready to do that. So I was like, all right, you want somebody to hang out with you? I'll hang out with you. Let's go. I'm going to turn on my Wii, and I'm going to play Phantasy Star, and you guys can hang out with me. They're like, wait, Dad, is that a 2-player game? No, it isn't. I don't know about this, Dad. But it turned out okay. They dug it. My son especially. So I was like, all right, this will help me cope with being dragged out of bed before I'm ready. You know, on a day where I'm supposed to be resting up for the work week. So I got to put about 2.5 hours into Phantasy Star, the original Phantasy Star, which is great. It means a couple things. First and foremost, it means I'm actually playing the ROM that was purchased from the Virtual Console on the Wii. So that makes me feel a little bit better about buying it. And I feel like I've played that game now. I feel like I have a really good feel for what Phantasy Star is like. So let's talk about it. I feel like the environment was really well done. That's something I drew from that game. I think on Metal Jesus Rocks on YouTube, he said that it was the greatest RPG experience of the 8-bit era. I don't know if that's true. I think that's kind of a stretch. We had a number of good role-playing games in that era. I mean, that would put it over the later Dragon Warrior games, like Dragon Warrior 3. I don't know if I'd put it over that, but it was cool, man. I played it all the way up until you meet the cat, Meow the cat, which apparently is about 2.5 hours in. No, I'll say 3 hours in, because that's not the first time I've sat down with it. Hang on a second. It's a 4-way stop. I gotta make sure. 4-way stops always make me a little nervous, because you kind of rely on everyone else to follow the traffic laws to not, Stop signs are a great place for people to just ignore the traffic laws and say, well, whatever. I don't know. I find less people adhere to stop signs than adhere to red lights. So a 4-way stop early in the morning always makes me just a tiny bit nervous. Phantasy Star. Yeah, it's good, man. I only have access to one first-person dungeon. And that dungeon is only one level. So I was able to figure it out without making a map on graph paper, but I know that's coming. People say, Phantasy Star, the dungeons are labyrinths. You're going to have to find some way to mitigate that. So, that's where I'm at. I'm having a good time with that game. We'll see. We'll see if I get stuck. Usually in these types of games, there's somewhere where I get stuck and I can't figure out what to do. That's usually how RPGs go for me. And that could still happen. What else? My bootlegs came from AliExpress. Those are pretty cool. I got to play Splatterhouse 2 a little bit on the actual Sega Genesis. That was dope. I enjoyed it. It's funny because I've played Splatterhouse 2 on the computer, like using an emulator, and I didn't really like it then. It didn't really feel like it had much to offer for me. It looked great, but gameplay-wise, not really much there. But when I played it on the original hardware, sitting on the carpet, Indian style, because I don't go down with that crisscross applesauce bull crap. That's Indian style. That's how you sit on the carpet with your legs crossed. You sit. How's that? Does that make you upset? I said Indian style. You're gonna deal with it, son. All right, I don't know where that came from. So I was sitting on the floor playing Splatterhouse 2. And I'm not good at that game. I get as far as the elevator sequence, which is the second stage, right? You have the opening of the game. Almost right away, after the first couple screens, you fight this big blob boss guy, and then after you beat him, that took me a few tries. Then you go to this elevator, and the elevator sequence is as far as I can get in that game as of right now, but we'll see. I'll get back to you on that. That's really been my weekend in gaming. I also played H1Z1. H1Z1 is a game that I made some videos off of, and they did really poorly on YouTube, but people seem to dig them on VidMe. But videos aside, it's a game I like. I mean, this Battle Royale thing in the PC world has really taken off. I think PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is like the most popular game, the world's most popular Steam game right now. So popular, in fact, that Steam had to add a new tab. So you go to popular games, and then you have to click a second time for global popular games, because that's a chart that has just been dominated by PUBG. It's a game that's so popular, Steam had to change the way it displays popular games just so that it wouldn't dominate so hard and so much. Hold on a second. But that's not what I played. I played H1Z1. H1Z1 is still the Battle Royale experience for my money, but there's a couple problems with that. Now we get a game called Fortnite Battlegrounds, which is free, and that's taken up a lot of players. And then a lot of people have moved on to PUBG. So the remaining people who still play Battleground or still play H1Z1 are like really difficult. Like these are the guys who, you know, are the pros, or possibly cheaters, but I don't like to go that route. If I die, I like to put it on me. Just assume cheaters don't exist. It's the best way to get better. And it's tough, man. It's a tough game to play. But I still enjoy it. I went back to that briefly. Not long. I played it for a couple of games. I had some pretty decent shootouts, and it was good, man. I liked it. It's a game I'm still having fun with, you know. I don't know how long I've been playing that. Not long for a Battle Royale game. I think I've got like 25 hours into it or something. Which for a Battle Royale game, not that much. But I still watch when I'm in like a YouTube watching type mode. I still watch H1Z1 Let's Plays. Let's see. The two big guys I watch are Optic Big Timer. That's he was like one of the I think he was a pro Call of Duty player who opened a YouTube channel. And it's funny because he's aging now. So you can see he's bald up top. He still keeps himself in good shape, you know, but clearly not like a young 20-something dude just riding this esports wave. Like this is like an older man. And his YouTube channel, when I found it, was nothing but H1Z1 and Friday the 13th. So I watched a lot of that. Optic Big Timer playing H1Z1. He's since moved on. Now he's playing a lot of Fortnite. And the latest Call of Duty game just came out, and he's a former pro, so he put out a bunch of those. I don't know. That's a guy who I watched play H1Z1. Him and Dr. Disrespect, who is now my favorite person on planet Earth. Oh my goodness, Dr. Disrespect is the best. That guy's so cool. I watch H3H3 podcast once in a while. I'll throw that on in the background. I think that's probably the biggest name podcast in podcasting I listen to right now. But he had Dr. Disrespect on, and it was great. It's like a slice of the 1980s, and I love it. It's the hair and the glasses and the way he talks like he's in a VHS movie. It's the best. I love it. It's great. So those two guys. So I think the only real reason why I played H1Z1 is just from watching old Dr. Disrespect videos and Optic Big Timer. So those are some things that I've been up to. Coming up on the 11th, there's going to be a big sale on AliExpress. And I have a feeling by the time this podcast is out, that will already have come and gone. We'll see. I have to look at a calendar and see what's up. But that's the thing. Over on AliExpress, I'm looking around to place my next order because I wanted to make sure these last games that I ordered showed up and were playable, and they were. So I'm ready to buy more from AliExpress now, more bootleg Sega Genesis games. But now, like, the 11th is a big sale, so you'll see, okay, this game is $480, but on the sale day, it'll be $380. And I'm like, oh, so I'm trying to hold off for the sale. However, I've also noticed that certain games are raising their price to accommodate for the sale. Specifically, Zelda Outlands on NES. There's like an expert Zelda game. And I had been eyeing a gold cartridge for the NES of the Zelda Outlands game. And that was $21 for this brand new gold cartridge Zelda game. And it's a lot, but Zelda Outlands is dope. Having a gold Zelda cart is dope. Having both is mega dope. So that's something that I wanted. And I noticed that they raised the price so that it would still be $21 during the sale. You guys suck, man. I don't know. So just keep your eye on what you're buying if you're planning on taking advantage of the AliExpress sale on the 11th. Because I certainly am. There's still some Sega Genesis games that you can get cheap repros of that I want to get a hold of. I want to get a hold of. Well, now I have to get Splatterhouse 3. I've got to acquire that one. Bubble Bobble, Super Bubble Bobble Mega Drive. I want to get a hold of that. That's a weird game that I've got to own. And I also want to get like a really weird ROM hack. So I think the only ROM hack I have right now is the Metal Sonic game I got from Sendu. But I want to get a cart made of, like, I don't know, Sonic without Sonic or something like that. One of the really bizarre ROM hacks. Something really silly. I think that'd be fun. Something to really knock down the wall between original hardware and emulation. That's a thing. Let's see. 16 minutes in, that's not too bad. And that's pretty much it. I think if I were back home right now and I had access to all video games, I think it'd be great to sit down and play some Phantasy Star. Barring that, probably H1Z1 in my room. That's cool. I feel like I didn't have as much gaming this weekend as I would have liked, but I had some decent gaming this weekend, which there's many weekends that come and go where it's just like time slips through my fingers and I'm busy with everything and I just can't make anything happen. So I'm thankful for what I have and the time I have, because time, as they say, is the greatest currency. And now, 17 minutes into the Vancast, I'm going to throw it back to Panzer Studios where it's nice and comfortable, so I can finish my commute to work safely without running into anything. Alright guys, I'll see you there. Welcome back to the comfortable Panzer Studios. I'm sitting pretty in my 1960s office chair with a broken back coil spring. So I'm just kind of leaning back halfway, just barely stopping from falling over onto the ground. And it's good, man. It feels really good. So this is the part of the show where I just like to take a few minutes to thank the patrons. This is a Patreon-supported show. And the benefits I can offer these people are very few. One such benefit is as soon as the show's done, I just go ahead and let them have it. Monday morning is release day, but these guys, they get it usually Friday, sometimes Saturday. But as soon as the show's up, that's when the patrons get it. In addition to that, I also like to just give a shout out individually to who they are, because it's a pretty trim list. This is an elite squad of people who are part of the secret dojo. And as soon as Google Drive opens up, I'll get to go over that list. Stand by one moment, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. My apologies. They are Hemrock, James, Sendu, Tecmo Balls, Darabka, Six Health of Fury, and the Cartridge Brothers. These guys are bringing the show back every single week, through thick or thin, rain or shine, whether I have the time to do it or not. Something goes up every single week because of these people. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. And it makes a huge impact on my life, more than I would have thought it would have. So thank you guys very much. And it's my sincere hope that you feel like you're getting your money's worth. Okay, so let's do this. I have a second Vancast that is very short. So let's return to chipmusic.org and then we'll check that out. I had one all set to play. Here we go. Amateur LSDJ is the guy's name. And he put up a couple tracks, but this one in particular is called Mutiny. Yeah, Mutiny from Amateur LSDJ. If you like this or you like the other tracks, just head over to chipmusic.org. Just take a look at the music charts. This is a pretty recent upload. You should be able to find it. Get yourself a copy of the MP3. You, my friend, are listening to Tiger Claw Radio. That's the stuff. That is the tastiest, spiciest stuff you can find. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I wanted to do some more just random banter before heading on to the Vancast, but I've changed my mind, and the reason why is because of the concept that there have been several shows where the Vancast, or excuse me, not the Vancast, the Failbag has saved the show, and I think this might end up being one of those, because we got some good stuff to go over. Oh, hang on. I want to take a look at this first. Big sale over at GOG.com. Just taking a quick peek. Seeing if there's anything worth picking up. Yeah, I know I probably should do this off the air, but I have to combine my activities to make sure there's time for everything. See, Gorky 17 is $1.50. I think I might have that on Steam already, though. Ronin 2015 action game for $3.25. Is that a first-person shooter? Let's see. Nope, no it is not. It's a side-scrolling indie game. No, thank you. Oh, no, thank you. Played enough of those. I think that's it. It's a pretty long list. This War of Mine, that was a pretty popular game when it came out, right? Geez, 2014, 15, 16, that was 3 years ago. Man, this is depressing. Here I always thought I was going to get some awesome games for cheap, which you could do. There's some good stuff here. But yeah, I'm also getting a little dose of sadness. And a little bit of a reminder that the cold embrace of death is just coming a little closer every single day. All right. Okay, so there's no GOG Connect either, so no unlocking for free. Oh, Siberia is free. Okay. Thanks, this game will appear in your account soon. Yeah, Siberia, which I believe is a point-and-click adventure game, right? That is free on GOG, so head over to GOG and get it. I'm going to check one last thing, because it says King's Bounty is on sale. I want to see how much they're charging for that. King's Bounty. Yeah, King's Bounty Legend, $1.19. King's Bounty Cross Worlds, $3.74. Warriors of the North, $2.99. Which one was the one I played? I played the first one, which I liked. Was that the Legend? Jeez Louise, I don't know. All right, let's sum this up. GOG.com has a sale. That sale does include the King's Bounty series. I am not touching it with the 10-foot pole because it... Well, two reasons. I play mostly I'm playing the console games right now. I've been collecting all sorts of new console games. I've been trying it out. That's where my time goes. When I play computer games, I still play the occasional H1Z1, and I'm waiting for the Thanksgiving sale. However, this has kicked me in the butt pretty hard. Let's see now. There was a... Oh no, it's gone. Did I blow it? I did. All right, hang on a second. There was a sale... Some company, some Animu company, and among the games that were for sale was Dodonpachi Resurrection, or Dodonpachi, whatever it is. The one I spent $30 for, that dropped down to $15. Now I have that game already, but there was also a game called Mushihimesma, Mushim-sama. I don't know. Another Animu bullet hell game from Cave Interactive that typically retails for $20. Dropping down to $7.99. And it looks good. It looks like a high-tier game. People seem to like it. It's rated very well. I think I just might consider picking that up. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's head over to YouTubans, and we will see what kind of comments there are. Now, I'd like to acknowledge that this is being recorded late Thursday afternoon. This is Thursday after work. So if you've commented on Friday, I'm sorry, man. I will get to it on the next exciting episode. All right, so Tiger Claw TV. Click my channel. All right. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot that I had issues with it last week. I put, when I was generating the MP4 or whatever it is, the video file for YouTube, I put the audio for the wrong episode on it. So for the first couple days, it was playing last week's, or the one from 2 weeks ago. All right, Dumaze. Dumaze is the king of the castle this time. I think that might be all we got. Is that right? feel like I've been getting a bunch of comments lately, but not on the podcast. All right, Dumaze, you and me, brother. Let's see what you got. He writes, Devil May Cry 1 is quite primitive compared to newer games, Bayonetta and such. The newest DMC got all the hate and is actually awesome. It has great graphics and plays well, way faster and smoother. As for Bayonetta, I am a beast. I beat Bayonetta 2 on Infinitude difficulty and Bayo 1 on hard. If you have a machine that can play DMC, Devil May Cry, I gotta recommend it. I love it. Good to know. I just might check that out. For now, I have 1 and 3, and those are getting played, but on an infrequent basis, which leads me to believe it'll be a while I get through them. I think I'm good for now. I'll pick that up later on. If I let it marinate for a while, I'm sure the price will go down at some point. But thanks for the heads up. All right, he writes, Dumaze writes, having kids, then buying retro stuff and getting to play them with you is totally awesome. For them, it's real great quality dad time they'll never forget. And for you, it's the benefit of actually getting to enjoy the games too. Better than Toddy Winks. And it will only get better as she gets older. I remember I never did almost anything with my dad except watch TV or movies on TV. I could have had the experience of gaming with him or my mom, and it would have been amazing. It's kind of like cheating. If you can't find a real-life friend to come over and retro game, you just make your own. Yeah, I gotta say, it's a good time. And I enjoy spending the time with my kids on something that we both like. We have a common ground there, which is what makes it great. I got to play more Phantasy Star with on the couch with my boy, and I was asking him what he thought about the game. It's like, because I have a lot of these types of games. He calls it. He looks at Phantasy Star, and the way he describes it is, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, but they put it on the TV and in a video game. It's the funniest thing, right? What better description of a classic story light role-playing game. Now I say story light just because it's old and there isn't a ton of dialogue. It does have a story, a good one. But let's move on. As soon as I can pull myself away from the Nintendo Switch, I'll record a Raiden 4 attempt, and I will have my Raiden 3 crown back too. Good luck, son. Alright. Hang on 1 second. Let me pause this for just a bit. Alright. Genesis Virtual Racing is actually backward from what you said. It has a special coprocessor like Super FX, and it will not work on any flash cards. And also, on the subject of flash cards being expensive, they're not compared to buying real games or repros. For those who want the POG experience, maybe he just writes the OG experience with RSL hardware, with real hardware, and an OG CRT TV. I see some YouTubers showing off they're buying hundreds and hundreds of dollars in repros, which is, to me, a silly thing to do. Just to fap to the artwork on the box, or what? That, my friend, is a fair point. It is a fair point. But wow, it kind of blurs the line to me. It's like, well, then why? I don't know, why anything? Why buy any of it? Why not just play it on your computer? You're right, though. You're right. But why would I buy 10 repros for $10 instead of one EverDrive for $100 if they were, in fact, the same price? I don't know, man. Aesthetics are a powerful thing. To me, it's not the artwork. To me, it's swapping the cartridges. I want to rip out that last game I was playing and slam the new Genesis cart right in there. But that's Genesis. Genesis has some great repros available for cheap. It might not be the same way with every system. If I get my hands on a TurboGrafx 16, you better believe I'm buying an EverDrive for that thing. I'm not bothering with the regular games unless I find them for a good price. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I need to own an EverDrive. That's really what it comes down to. I got to get my hands on an EverDrive and see what it's really like. I have a flash cart for the original Game Boy, but it's not an EverDrive, and changing the ROMs on it are a royal pain in the butt. Like, oh my gosh, a royal pain in the butt. So yeah, video games. All right, let's go back and see what other comments we got. I have a PC Engine Duo with all caps soldered in with its EverDrive and does not need modding to play burn CDs. I love it. Yeah, I seen that in your video, dude. I think that was in your video, right? I know you had some impressive stuff. You had $500 in EverDrives in that video. All right. He also writes, I just got my Holy Grail out of reach game I've been eyeing for a decade or so, and I finally got it. Near mint complete. Oh, hang on, somebody's knocking on the door. All right, what did I miss? Let's get back to his comment. And a near mint complete copy of Fire Emblem Pathfinder for GameCube. Finally got it last month. Way to go, man. Must feel good to get your Holy Grail. I'm not there yet. I have got, let's see. I don't know why I need to look at the piece of paper. I still need to get Double Dragon. That'll be a big day for me, because then I'll have the 3 games on my list of goals, and I think it'll feel good to be able to have a list of only crossed off items. In the near future, I want to get all of the games that I had to sell for groceries. They're all attainable. That's what I want to get. We'll see. I'm gonna get this Double Dragon game, and then we'll see from there. In the meantime, oh my goodness, yeah. What I do is just play games. That's what I want to do. I want to have 2 days off with like a $50 budget to order pizza with, and time to play the games. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Good times. All right, Dumaze. Thanks for the comments, man. I think that might have been it. I'm gonna take a look. There's nothing on TigerClawTV.com. I'll have to check out the nextround.net. You know what we can do? I can answer some comments on other videos. Gooch and the Douchebag used to do that. Their bagged section was enormous because they would take every comment on any YouTube video and they would read it as if it was, a letter to their show. I don't know about that, but I don't know about going through every single one. But there were a couple of things that I wanted to address in some of my random videos. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go to, how do I do this anymore? They changed it all around. Customize channel, would that be it? I don't even know. I gotta click videos, and that brings me to the old video page. Then I can click video manager, and that'll take me to where my comments are. Alright, and then community. There's too many clicks to get to my comment feed. Okay, yes, here we go. Alex Swengel writes on the Star Ocean 2 video, Star Ocean 2 will teach you a whole nother level of patience. Get it? Because that's a skill to buy at the skill shop? Ah, Swengel, you so funny. I hope you love it like you remember. Thanks, man, I appreciate that. I don't know what to expect. I've got to play it quick so that it gets played. I don't want it to sit on the shelf forever. Shintai writes, and by the way, Shintai, man, it's so good to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in forever. Star Ocean 2 is a real good game. PSP version is better, though, since it has a better translation and fixes the glitches, but the PS1 version is still a great find since it's fairly rare. Shintai, I think we've talked about this before, but my older brother and my buddy, Angie, who both tried to play through Star Ocean 2, and neither one of them could beat it. They both got to the final boss, and that was as far as they could get. They couldn't beat him. The reason they cited was the scaling of levels in the bosses. So apparently that's a thing. You get stronger, the bosses get stronger with you, so you can't grind your way out of it. You gotta use technique. Shintai, it's good to hear from you, man. Dumaze on another on the United States Postal Service burning a hole in my package writes, I recommend you get Contra Hardcore. The Japan version has a life bar And it has a life code cheat too for when you want to have fun with multiplayer with a noob. Wow. So that's a game that they must have dumbed down or made harder for the American audience because of game rentals, right? Isn't that the story? Bayou Billy's great example. I had to make it harder because that game is bonkers. I mean, like Contra for the Nintendo and Super Contra, those games are hard. Contra Hardcore is bonkers. That game is crazy. It's insanity. It's a good game, but it's very crazy. So I'll have to check that out. This was really neat. I got a comment from, of all people, Larry Bundy Jr. Guru Larry from Fact Hunt. From Guru Larry's Fact Hunt. Of whom I'm a big fan. Writes, I'm trying to get a Magnavox Odyssey imported from the US at the moment. And the USPS managed to relabel my address to a farm on the other end of the country. Spent the last month trying to get them to change it. Absolutely no idea how or why they did it either. That's crazy. Yeah, we're a crack squad. Almost done here. We'll read a couple of the ones from the other ones from the USPS, and then that's it. Alex Swingle writes, I've shipped a little over 4,000 packages, and about 5 of them had trouble being delivered. None were ever officially lost in the mail system and got to their designated address or came back to me due to the people buying items failing to provide proper information. It does happen from time to time, though. The worst that has ever happened to me was a box getting impaled by another package dropping its payload of steel pipes onto the pallet my shipment was on. The item miraculously survived and was in usable condition, but sadly was dinged and required an insurance claim to make right with my buyer. The accident was a FedEx postage, and surprise, surprise, I still use FedEx because stuff happens and no company can ever do things 100% correctly. I've had about 4 FedEx packages get practically obliterated. The only service I don't use is UPS and DHL, but mostly due to not having accounts with them, and their non-account prices are too absurd to justify paying their services. You know what? I've looked at UPS, and I thought the same thing. It was just too much money. But I guess I have you topped then, because I bought one game once that just never showed up. Not necessarily the post office's problem, though. I bought a copy of Colony Wars. Colony Wars, the space sim for the PS1. This was like 6 years ago. I ordered it, and it just never arrived at the doorstep. Didn't come. Now, maybe the guy sent it somewhere else. I don't know what the deal was. Never showed up. I had to file a claim and get a refund. But it just never came. I don't know. Probably has nothing to do with the Postal Service, though. It's probably the seller being a flake. But that happened. Alright, guys. Whatever has brought you 50 minutes and 40 seconds into this episode of Tiger Club Radio, I want to thank you for spending your time hanging out, listening to some chiptunes and talking about video games. It feels good. It's a good thing. And I want to just give you some encouragement when you go out to face your week, because it's probably, early Monday morning, Tuesday morning, a lot of people listen to this. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't take a day off. Don't take a sick day. Save that paid time off for when you really need it. Hang in there. Make it a good week. I'm rooting for you. I will see you next week.